Good afternoon, I'm Rob Boskamp, and you're listening to South Texas Midday. Thank you for joining me on this Thursday, February 5th. Cooler weather and breezy conditions across the region this week means dry weather and elevated fire danger. That said, residents are advised to avoid open flames or sparks, keep vehicles off dry grass, and properly discard cigarettes. Elevated levels of arsenic were detected in Robstown's water supply during a routine test. KIII News reports the elevated levels were found during a quarterly sample at the city's water treatment plant. Officials with Nueces County Water Control and Improvement District Number 3 say the issue appears isolated and does not indicate a system-wide problem or an immediate danger to the public. District Manager Marco Alanis told KIII that changes in the river system could be contributing, though the source has not yet been confirmed. The Water District is working with a private lab to retest the water and identify the source of the arsenic. A Sinton woman is in San Patricio Court on charges of theft of property valued at $300,000 or more. According to court documents, Vanessa Slayton, a former employee of Epic Energy Services, is facing 5 felony charges after her employers allegedly uncovered more than $1.6 million in unauthorized transactions over several months. The alleged thefts were discovered after an internal audit of the company's accounts last month. Court records revealed numerous unauthorized electronic transfers with documentation showing transaction dates, amounts, and partial account numbers. The allegations state that Slayton unlawfully transferred more than $300,000 at a time from company accounts into accounts in her own name without authorization, a first-degree felony under Texas law. The filings state the transfers occurred over several months between last year and earlier this year. Corpus Christi City Council plans to enhance Packery Channel's boat ramps as early as next year.
Packery Channel, the boat ramp area, it gets used all year round. Our locals use it, our visitors use it. The more that we can bring folks to this area, keep them here as long as possible, it gives back to our economy.
That was District 4 Councilmember Kaylin Paxson speaking with Chris 6 News. Last week, the city applied for a grant that would fund improvements to the waterfront facility. The proposed upgrades would renovate the existing boat ramps, add benches throughout the area, and build new restroom facilities near the pavilion. If approved, the project would proceed in 2 phases, with construction beginning next year. The Rio Grande Valley Business Journal reports that a federal housing directive could affect more than 14,000 households across the valley. A new federal housing directive titled Cleaning House is now forcing public housing authorities and landlords who receive Department of Housing and Urban Development dollars to verify citizenship and legal immigration status for every tenant in HUD-funded housing nationwide. Thousands of families in the valley, including over 2,800 in Brownsville, rely on HUD-funded public housing and housing choice vouchers, commonly known as Section 8. HUD leaders announced the order last week and gave housing officials 30 days to comply, according to a news release from the federal agency. The Rio Grande Valley Business Journal is in partnership with KEDT. Leaders in the construction industry say immigration raids at work sites are causing a crisis in the building industry and impacting the economy. Texas Public Radio's David Martin Davies reports.
Frustration is growing over the warrantless targeting of construction workers by Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Construction industry leaders say the ICE raids are creating a worker shortage and a crisis for their business. Mario Guerrero is the executive director of the South Texas Builders Association.
It's a big strain on the economy. We have companies that have filed for bankruptcy. We've also had companies that are seeing 40% losses on revenues.
Monica Martinez from the Laredo Chamber of Commerce said the ICE raids have resulted in a slowdown in economic development.
Contractors are reporting labor shortages, delayed projects, and rising costs. As workers, many of whom have valid work authorization, are afraid to report to job sites.
South Texas Congressman Henry Cuellar says he's hearing from other lawmakers that they're having the same problem in their districts.
It is a national problem.
Cuellar said that after the agricultural industry complained how ICE raids were hurting farming, they backed off. He's asking the same for the construction industry. I'm David Martin Davies in San Antonio.
Cuellar says he's asking the Department of Homeland Security about their plans for a San Antonio Eastside warehouse that's been acquired by ICE. Speaking to reporters Wednesday, Cuellar said he met with White House and ICE officials. He said the funding for the purchase of the San Antonio warehouse and similar properties like in McAllen did not come from the normal congressional channel appropriations.
It came from the big, beautiful bill where they added $75 billion. So we specifically, at the meeting with ICE, I specifically asked them to get back to me to get me information on what they're doing on the east side, what they're doing in McAllen.
Cuellar said he's trying to find out the timeline on when construction modifications will happen at the warehouse, how it will be adapted to house approximately 1,500 people, and when ICE detainees will begin to be housed at that site. The Associated Press reported this week that Mexico and the United States had reached an agreement under which Mexico would send a minimum amount of water annually to the U.S. President Trump had threatened to raise tariffs by 5% on Mexican imports if it did not deliver more water. Under the new agreement, Mexico would send at least 350,000 acre-feet of water to the U.S. each year during the current 5-year cycle. An acre-foot is the amount of water needed to cover 1 acre of land to a depth of 1 foot. Mexico's commitment to a minimum annual delivery amount is a change from what is required under the 1944 Water Treaty, which stated that Mexico must deliver 1.75 million acre-feet of water to the U.S. from 6 tributaries every 5 years. The Associated Press reports in the border state of Tamaulipas, across from Texas, farmers have said in recent weeks that the lack of water has led some to not plant crops. And tomorrow, KEDT takes a little trip with Chet Garner. You may know him from PBS's The Day Tripper. The Emmy Award-winning producer and host recently took a trip of his own to Corpus Christi.
Corpus feels very much like my hometown, very industrial city, but it's also got sort of this beach vibe to it as well. I look forward to every chance I can get to go down to the coast, Corpus specifically.
The latest episode of The Day Tripper airs Saturday on PBS. We'll have your preview for that episode and more conversation with Chet Garner tomorrow on Morning Edition and South Texas Midday. And that is the latest news and information on this episode of South Texas Midday. You can check out this and previous episodes wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Rob Boskamp. Your community arts calendar and more is on the way.